I've stared down some of the world's most dangerous creatures, from the jaws of crocodiles to the charge of a grizzly. One experience, though, stands out. Deep in the Alaskan wilderness, I found myself face to face with a pack of wolves. Their eyes, sharp and hungry, locked onto me, and a shiver ran down my spine. Every instinct screamed danger, but I knew panicking wouldn't help, not in the face of such primal power. That's the thing about wild animals. They're unpredictable. They're driven by instinct, by the need to survive. And that can make them very dangerous, especially if you're caught off guard. But you know what? We don't have to be helpless. Over the years, I've learned a thing or two about staying safe in the wild, and in this video, I'm sharing 13 essential tips that could save your life in an animal encounter. These aren't just tips, they're hard-won lessons from a life spent in the wild. Trust me, knowing this information could mean the difference between walking away and, well, not walking away. First things first, when you find yourself face to face with a potential threat, your heart's going to race, your breath will quicken, and every instinct will scream at you to run. But here's the thing, panic is your worst enemy. Animals can sense fear, and it can trigger a predatory response. So take a deep breath. Remember what you're capable of. Channel that fear into focus, and remind yourself that you are not prey. You are a survivor. This shift in mindset can make all the difference. It allows you to think clearly, assess the situation, and make rational decisions. Remember, animals have been navigating the wild for millennia. They have an innate understanding of body language. When you panic, you appear smaller, weaker, and more vulnerable. But when you stand your ground, calm and collected, you project an aura of confidence that can deter even the most aggressive animals. In the animal kingdom, size matters. It's a visual cue that often determines dominance. When confronted by a potential threat, your goal is to make yourself appear as large and imposing as possible. Think of it as a non-verbal way of saying, "I'm not an easy target." Now, how you do this depends on the situation. If you're in an open area, spread your arms wide, raise your jacket above your head, and stand tall. The idea is to break the outline of your silhouette and create the illusion of greater size. If you're with others, group together. A united front can be intimidating even to a predator. Remember, in the wild, there's strength in numbers. By appearing larger, you're essentially flipping the script on the encounter, shifting the balance of power and increasing your chances of deterring an attack. So, you've stood your ground, made yourself big, and the animal is still eyeing you up. Now what? Well, it's time to make a strategic retreat. But this isn't a mad dash for safety. It's a controlled withdrawal, a delicate dance between asserting your presence and avoiding provocation. The key here is to maintain eye contact. Never turn your back on a wild animal. Think of it as a sign of respect, acknowledging their presence while also letting them know you're aware of their every move. As you back away, move slowly and deliberately. Avoid sudden movements or jerky gestures that could be misinterpreted as aggression. Remember, you're trying to de-escalate the situation, not escalate it. Each step back is a step toward safety, a calculated move in the game of survival. Let's face it, no matter how well prepared you are, sometimes an attack is unavoidable. In those critical moments, your priority shifts from deterrence to defense, and that means protecting your vital areas. Your neck and head are particularly vulnerable, housing major arteries in your central nervous system. If you find yourself in a grapple, try to protect these areas at all costs. Use your arms to shield your head and neck, or curl up in a ball to minimize exposure. Remember, every second counts in a life or death situation. By protecting your vital areas, you increase your chances of survival and minimize potential injury. It might sound grim, but it's the reality of surviving a wild animal encounter. Noise can be a powerful deterrent in the wild. Many animals, even predators, are startled by loud, unexpected sounds. It disrupts their senses and creates an element of surprise that can buy you precious time to escape. So how do you make yourself heard? Yelling at the top of your lungs is a good start, but you can amplify your voice by using whatever's at hand. Bang rocks together, hit trees with sticks, or use a whistle if you have one. The key is to create a cacophony of noise that will startle the animal and hopefully send it running in the opposite direction. Remember, your voice is a tool. Use it. In the wild, silence can be deadly, but noise can be your shield and your weapon. It's about using your surroundings to your advantage and turning the tables on a potential threat. When danger lurks on the ground, sometimes the safest option is to seek refuge above. Climbing a tree can be a life-saving maneuver, but it's crucial to assess the situation and choose your arboreal escape route wisely. Not all trees are created equal. First, look for a sturdy tree with a trunk wide enough to support your weight. Avoid trees with low-hanging branches that a predator could easily climb. Once you've found your target, ascend quickly but carefully. Use your legs to power your climb as they're stronger than your arms, and keep your eyes on the prize, the safety of the higher branches. Remember, this tactic isn't foolproof. Some animals are surprisingly adept climbers, but in many cases a well-timed tree climb can buy you valuable time until the threat passes or help arrives. It might sound counterintuitive, but sometimes the best defense is to play dead. This tactic is particularly effective with certain animals, like bears, who often lose interest in prey that's no longer moving. The key is to commit to the act, to convince the animal that you're no longer a threat. Lie flat on the ground, face down, and protect your vital areas by covering your head and neck with your arms. Remain still and silent, even if the animal sniffs or nudges you. This can be incredibly difficult, especially when adrenaline is coursing through your veins, but it's crucial to maintain the charade. Remember, playing dead isn't a guarantee of survival, but it can significantly increase your chances, especially with certain predators. It's a last resort, a desperate gamble in the face of imminent danger. When venturing into bear country, carrying bear spray is non-negotiable. It's your first line of defense against these powerful creatures. But like any tool, it's only effective if you know how to use it correctly. First, make sure your bear spray is easily accessible, not buried deep in your backpack. When encountering a bear, calmly remove the safety and aim the canister slightly downward, towards the bear's chest. If the bear charges, wait until it's within 30 feet before firing a short burst. The goal is to create a cloud of deterrent between you and the bear, not to directly hit its face. Remember, bear spray is a deterrent, not a weapon. In the animal kingdom, eye contact can be a complex form of communication. With some animals, like dogs, direct eye contact can be interpreted as a challenge. In these situations, it's best to avoid prolonged eye contact and instead avert your gaze slightly to appear less threatening. However, with other animals, like big cats, avoiding eye contact can be perceived as a sign of weakness or fear. In these instances, maintaining eye contact, even while slowly backing away, can project an aura of confidence and deter an attack. The key takeaway: know your animals. Educate yourself on the specific behaviors and social cues of the wildlife you might encounter in your area. Understanding how to communicate effectively, even non-verbally, can be crucial in diffusing a potentially dangerous encounter. Let's face it, when it comes to raw power, we're outmatched by most animals in the wild. But what we lack in physical strength, we make up for in ingenuity. In a survival situation, your surroundings become your arsenal, and everyday objects transform into tools of self-defense. A sturdy branch becomes a club, capable of delivering a powerful blow. A sharp rock, clutched firmly in your hand, transforms into a makeshift knife. Even a handful of sand, thrown into the eyes of an attacker, can create a momentary distraction, buying you precious seconds to escape. Remember, the goal is not to overpower your attacker, but to create an opportunity for escape. Use your improvised weapons strategically, aiming for vulnerable areas like the eyes, nose, or throat. The best way to survive an animal attack is to avoid one altogether, and that starts with being aware of your surroundings. Remember, you are entering the domain of wild animals. Respect their space and be vigilant. Pay attention to animal tracks, scat, and other signs of wildlife activity. These are nature's warning signs, telling you who's been there and what they've been up to. If you come across a carcass, steer clear. Predators are often drawn to these areas and may be lurking nearby. Never approach or disturb a den or nest. Animals are fiercely protective of their young and will defend them with unrelenting ferocity. If you stumble upon a den, back away slowly and make your presence known to avoid a surprise encounter. In the wild, we want to blend in, not stand out. That means avoiding behaviors that could attract unwanted attention from curious or hungry critters. One of the biggest mistakes people make is inadvertently attracting animals with food. Keep your campsite clean and store food securely. Never eat inside your tent. The smell can linger and attract unwanted visitors. And when you're hiking, avoid carrying scented toiletries or wearing strong perfumes. Remember, wild animals have a keen sense of smell, and even the faintest whiff of something edible can pique their curiosity. By minimizing your impact and respecting their habitat, you can significantly reduce the chances of an encounter. Every corner of the world has its own unique ecosystem, and understanding the specific challenges of that environment is crucial for survival. Before venturing into any wilderness area, take the time to learn about the local wildlife. What animals are common in the area? What are their behaviors and habits? Knowing the answers to these questions can mean the difference between a safe and enjoyable adventure and a potentially dangerous situation. Familiarize yourself with the mating and birthing seasons of local wildlife. Animals can be particularly aggressive during these times as they're protecting their mates or young. Knowledge is power, and in the wild it can be the key to staying safe. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the importance of staying calm to the art of using noise as a deterrent. Remember, these tips aren't just about surviving animal attacks. They're about coexisting peacefully with the creatures that inhabit these wild spaces. Respect for wildlife means keeping a safe distance, observing from afar, and never feeding or approaching wild animals. The wild is their home, and we're just visitors passing through. Let's treat it, and its inhabitants, with the respect they deserve. Share these tips with your friends, family, and fellow adventurers. You never know whose life you might save by spreading the word about wildlife safety. Remember, preparation is key. Stay safe, stay aware, and stay wild.